3 months ago, we started the bus. Today it's completely finished and we're ready to hit the road. That was exactly 1 year ago. Over the past 12 months, we've crossed the United States, experienced new places that we never knew existed, had ultimate highs and deep lows, but it's been the adventure of a lifetime.
For those of you who are new here, this is Sarah and I'm Eric. Together we converted a school bus into a tiny home on wheels. We're on a quest to enjoy life in our youth, live amongst this beautiful earth of ours, and make every day an adventure.
In this episode, we're condensing our entire first year of living in a bus into one video. Let's reminisce. Our build was finished, but it hadn't quite set in yet. All we knew was Michigan winter had arrived and we were finally on the road. We just had our first morning in the bus, slept on our fold-out bed under the fire. It was dreamy, and now we're in the Upper Peninsula with our friends Kylie and Wyatt.
It was only right that we took the time to see Michigan's Upper Peninsula with friends before leaving the state. It was clear that winter was here and was ready to put the bus to the test.
The sun is out. Let's do it.
First tracks.
Pictured Rocks is one of our most treasured places, and we still think it's hard to match its beauty. What you can't feel here is how cold it is, but that didn't stop us from hiking a mile in, carrying all of our gear for a quick surf. Even though the waves were small, it was 100% worth the story. This evening is when it hit me that we're actually living in the bus. Because when we were with Kylie and Wyatt for the past few days, that was just like, it was like vacation. And now we're doing real people things, but all on the bus. It's crazy.
So we went from Pictured Rocks, Michigan to Pictured Rocks, Iowa. Last night we paid for our first campsite. We've been on the road for 6 days now. Had to fill up our water tank. So yeah, we're all restocked. We did a little laundry run. Sarah's whipping up some oatmeal / leftovers right now. And we're just gonna kind of chill.
Ah, the early days. Wow, we were so new to this whole bus life thing. Everything was an adventure, from cooking a simple meal to floating down a freaking cold river on a paddleboard. The world was our oyster. We had no specific plans, an entire month just to travel and enjoy ourselves, but we were itching to get further west.
Finally, mountains on the horizon and space. Tons and tons of space. We found ourselves driving through southern Wyoming, saw a big blue blotch on the map, and figured, why not shack up here for the night? We had no idea what we were in for.
This is why we did the bus.
I can't believe it. What the heck?
I have no words. I don't have any words for this.
The next morning, we found an access point and got on the water. We learned early on that sometimes it's better not to plan out every detail of a trip, because more often than not, you get lucky and stumble across a gem like this one.
So it's a few weeks into bus life. I just whipped up some food and Clyde is outside cutting wood for our little wood stove. Very domestic of us, I know. But we're so excited to have our own little space together, and we've definitely been enjoying this life so far. Where are we going? We stayed in Salt Lake near friends for a week, exploring the Wasatch Range for the first time. From there, we headed further west after we got wind a winter storm was about to hit Northern California. We found a tucked away spot on the Mammoth Scenic Route to rest up and get ready for an early start the next day, crossing our fingers for snow to fall overnight. Good morning. It's about 6:30 a.m. Eric just drove us out of our camping spot on the Mammoth Scenic Route, and we are trudging for Mammoth.
We got maybe 2 inches of fresh snow. Hopefully more over the course of the day, but we're putting the bus to the test right now. She's handling great.
We're officially at Mammoth. My breakfast chef has got the goodies going. We're already a little snowed in. Can't really see, but we're freaking ready to ride. So now we're back in the bus, getting lunch. White Witchy.
Bye.
Witchy's rigging up a clothesline for us to dry all our stuff.
Very wet.
And right when I started cooking lunch, our propane went out. So we're improvising. It'll probably be better than normal. Nothing like a quick propane swap in a wet and snowy parking lot. How's it going, hon?
We spent 2 weeks in Mammoth, eventually meeting up with friends to celebrate Thanksgiving. It was a perfect way to see everyone for the first time in a long time and share our home with them.
Southern California, aka our new home base. This is where Eric's small business is located, as well as a bunch of great friends. We took advantage of the warm weather and made some small adjustments to really make this bus feel like a home.
It wasn't long until we started dialing in a routine in a little surf town in Orange County. This place is just about as slow as Southern California can get, and it's exactly what we were looking for.
We felt the calling of the road again around Christmas and prepped for a little adventure to a nearby national park, Joshua Tree. We're gonna head up here and do a little rock climbing.
found an ancient bone. Good job.
With highs come lows. After exploring Joshua Tree for the day, we headed to a BLM spot just outside of the park, and so we're on some BLM land, came to find a spot to park for the night, and we are stuck. And plan of action is dig everything out and then put stuff under the tires. Eric just dug all the tires out, and it took me all of 2 seconds to walk around and find a board. I think that's like a piece of a car or something, and a car mat to put under the tires. So
Another one.
and another one. Okay, so clearly we need to take better care of our public spaces, but right now I'm honestly pretty glad that we found those.
Let's try.
Ah,
You want to just stay out here and film it?
sure.
Here you go.
Go, just drive. Just drive. Oh shoot. Go, babe, go! Woohoo! Yeah, baby.
Good job, babe.
That was a good little run. All right, this seems good.
This seems great.
Let's do this.
We're getting stuck led us right to our campsite.
Woo! Yeah.
We did it.
Good stuff, honey.
We're in for the night.
Look how good we kept our cool.
We did. We were able to keep our cool because we've been in so many situations. Speaking of situations,
So we just had a fire in our bus, in our solar box, and the bus just filled up with smoke. We just stopped to get a few more things before we were gonna head up to go snowboarding, and now who knows what is gonna happen.
so that one you can see is pretty fried. I cannot believe it didn't go up in flames.
But a little electrical fire couldn't hold us back for too long. The next day, we weighed our options. We could either sit there feeling sorry for ourselves, or we could get on the road and figure out our electrical problems along the way. Just like that, we were headed to Lake Tahoe, just in time for the biggest storm of the year.
Holy cow.
Over 5 days, Tahoe was buried in 8 feet of snow. It was work keeping the bus cleared off and staying warm with the wood stove, but it was worth every second. We utilized our tire chains and were at the base of the mountain every morning.
This is unreal.
What a week! Definitely one of the highlights for sure. Before leaving, we had to stop and see the infamous Lake Tahoe, and with a fresh sheet of snow, it couldn't have looked more beautiful. So ever since we had our little electrical fire, we haven't had anything to convert our DC power to AC power because our inverter got fried, which means we don't have any way to charge our laptops, which means we don't have any way to complete our next bona fide video.
And work.
Work
must be done.
So we have been walking around outlet malls and San Clemente in general trying to find an outlet. And I think we found a spot.
We did. Let's go hit it.
Oh, okay. All right. Not the most comfortable place to sit, but hey, we've got Wi-Fi and power, so cheers to that. Let's get some stuff done. Bus life. Sometimes you're on top of a mountain and sometimes you're sitting outside an outlet mall so that you can charge your laptop and get work done. Why didn't you go to a coffee shop, you ask? Well, we tried. Multiple. But none of them had available outlets, so instead of buying multiple coffees, we cut our losses and settled for this cozy brick ground. Behold! Our new inverter arrived and we were back on track.
With our bus back to normal, we were ready to stretch our legs again and take the bus somewhere new. So why not the infamous Highway 1? Morning number 1 was already starting to feel like a dream, but don't worry, the universe tends to keep us humble.
Does anybody need an ambulance or anything like that?
Everybody seems to be okay.
Yes, do you need an ambulance? All right. Are you the driver of that car? Okay, you're the driver of this? Yeah. Okay. All right, so what happened?
We just got in an accident. I mean, she hit the back of a bus, so I don't know, like, my stomach's in knots right now.
Hey, Eric.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I'm assuming the damage is to the bumper right there?
Yep, that's
Okay.
it.
This is why we have insurance.
It's really all right.
That's all your information. Any other questions, anything like that?
No, I don't have any.
Cool, sounds good.
Thank
All right,
you.
have a good one.
You too.
Thankfully, the bus suffered no serious damage and just gained a little character. We quickly forgot about it over a quick surf session. With every mile we drove up the coast, it felt like we were being lifted higher and higher, and I mean, we were literally gaining elevation on the side of cliffs. Have you ever been so happy that you feel like your insides could literally burst? This was one of those moments for us. Not only were we there, but our entire house that we built with our own hands was right there with us, perched on a cliff, overlooking the Great Pacific. We sat for hours watching the clouds roll by below us. It really was something out of a dream.
In the morning, we got back on the road, and what a stretch of road that was. After a few days in Big Sur, we continued north, spent a night in Santa Cruz, and then got ready to cross the most iconic bridge in the United States, the Golden Gate.
We've watched the coast morph from sandy beaches to cliffs to forested edges and everything in between. The Sonoma coast was truly spectacular. We realized there were probably 10 amazing destinations for every one we chose to stop at. We were doing this bus thing. I mean, can you believe this? Sunset, romantic dancing. You can't see it here, but red wine and the Eagles' greatest hits. It doesn't get more picturesque bus life than that. Good morning. It's about 8:30 a.m. right now. We are on the road, and in about 2 hours we are going to be in Humboldt Redwoods State Park. I'm super excited. And this drive is beautiful.
We reached the end of Highway 1 and drove into some of the most ancient forests in the country. Driving under these massive redwood trees was incredible. There's something truly humbling about living things that have been alive for thousands of years before you and will still be here long after you're gone.
Lunchtime?
Lunchtime. I grew up in the woods. My childhood home is surrounded by trees, and they were my playground. I loved the new places we were visiting, but they were lacking the greenery I'm accustomed to. It was great to be amongst the trees again, and these were some of the biggest I've ever seen. Oh my goodness!
I almost could get it.
We just walked through some old growth redwoods, and now we're heading further north up to Oregon. To where, I don't know. We'll
Why?
find out.
Why are you out of breath?
We are finally in Oregon. This is gonna be our last evening near the water on the coast, so we're just gonna soak it up while we can before we start heading inland.
Oregon has been on my list to visit for as long as I can remember. From what I had seen, it was basically Michigan's Upper Peninsula on steroids. Dense forests, epic waterfalls, rugged coastlines, and mountains scattered in between. Basically an outdoorsman's paradise, especially if you love winter just as much as you love summer, which I do. It was truly special getting to experience it for the first time in this way.
We had to make one last stop before leaving the coast, and that was to get some fresh caught crab soaked in butter. And now we're walking the beach with our wine and beers. Cheers, honey. And tomorrow's a new adventure.
Back to the bus.
This fairy tale had to end sometime. And like most fairy tales, this story did have a dramatic twist.
Mount Bachelor, the mountain I've dreamed of for a decade. A snowboarder's paradise. I was literally on cloud 9, flowing down runs on this bluebird day.
But we had no idea what was about to happen.
We ask that you arrange for alternate transportation for you and your passengers.
So the bus won't start. It's making a really horrible, awful noise when we try and turn it over. We are in the Mount Bachelor parking lot. Eric has called, 15 shops trying to get us in somewhere, anywhere.
Nobody's available.
Nobody's available for until like June. So I don't know what we're gonna do.
Yeah, it's quite a long tow to you guys, but Bend, honestly, nobody wants to fuck with the 6-0. The one shop that does, everybody is saying don't go to. So I'm thinking Eugene is where we're gonna kind of start heading towards. After calling practically every shop in Central Oregon, it was seeming like we needed to get an 140-mile tow to Eugene. While I normally wouldn't be upset about being stuck in this particular spot, I had hurt my ankle on our first day out, so I wasn't able to ride.
No matter what you're doing in life, there's always going to be highs, and there's always going to be lows, no matter what it looks like your life is like on Instagram or YouTube, any social media. It's just nothing's perfect, and you have to figure out how to roll with the punches. It's our 4th day being stuck in the Mount Bachelor parking lot. We finally have a towing confirmation, and we're just waiting on a tow, so until that gets here, we just gonna eat. We've been waiting for the tow truck for 5 hours now?
Forever.
A really long time. The tow truck still hasn't come.
Oh, where the is the tow truck guy?
Oh, still no one here, but we're just
Here, I know how to call him.
looking out the window.
Help.
Hey, finally, come and rescue us, Mr. Tow Truck. We ended up getting a call out of the blue from a shop in Bend that was willing to get us in right away. What they thought would be a one-day fix turned into a week-long repair. Oh my God.
For the next week, we slept, ate, showered, and worked inside of a shop. We were extremely thankful for their hospitality, But after a couple days, our situation started wearing on us.
We did our best to maintain some kind of normalcy. Days started blending together, and we started to wonder if we were ever going to get out of there. Not only were we concerned about the cost of the repair, but there was no guaranteed finish time. And that was probably the most difficult part. All we could do was to try and stay positive. We have lost track of time. Today's going on like our 6th day of pretty much living in the shop. We are. Going a little crazy, not gonna lie. Just feeling like cooped up like an animal in a cage or something. There's not much for us to do around here, and we can only bike so far. I've been walking around in circles, just calling people, my parents, trying to kill time. I just rounded the corner and see that the bus is running. Oh, thank goodness. I hope that means we are getting out of here soon. Fingers crossed. The bus was finally running. The guys had to reassemble the grill, and then it was time for a test drive. Our anticipation was at an all-time high.
Everything checked out, and we left the shop late that night.
Now we're back on the road. The bus is running better than it ever has before, and we are driving through this beautiful landscape and just like so happy and thankful that we have our house back and our freedom back. It feels really surreal. It's weird, this roller coaster of a trip we've been on. How the heck do I wrap up that experience? It was definitely a perfect example of the extremes of bus life. One week you're experiencing the most beautiful places you've ever seen, and the next you're living in a shop, clinging to hope. While something may feel like the end of the world, it will pass. We've learned so much this year, including how important it is to stay positive.
We arrived back in Southern Cal knowing we'd be staying put for a while. It was time to focus in on work and stack the bank account for a bit. Sarah got a job in San Diego, and we were bouncing up and down between Orange County and the city.
Being without AC, this was the perfect place to spend our summer. We did surprisingly well staying near the water and enjoying everything the ocean had to offer. Paddleboarding, diving, and of course, lots and lots of surfing.
After a year on the road, we've proven that we can support ourselves financially, maintain a routine, and happily live together in a 100 square foot space.
We've grown individually and as a couple. Eric and I live in a school bus that we turned into our home. If we can do that, I'm confident we can do anything.
Someday we'll settle down, but for now, we're having way too much fun.
We wake up with the sun, spend our days at the mercy of nature, and never know what adventure is coming next. Now that we're going into our second year on the road, I don't see us stopping this way of life anytime soon. We have so many more adventures in store, and we can't wait to take you along. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.